Look, going through a divorce is without a doubt one of the toughest things you can face. And when you throw your home into the mix, which is often your biggest shared asset, things can get really complicated really fast. So let's dive in and bring some much needed clarity to one of the most critical steps, the divorce appraisal. So if you're in this boat right now, you know exactly what I'm talking about. The big question is, what do you do with the house? Do you sell it and split the money? Does one of you buy the other out? The path forward can feel pretty overwhelming. Well, before you can even start making those big decisions, you need one thing, a solid, neutral starting point. And that starting point is a professional valuation of what your home is actually worth. It's the key to making sure every decision that comes next is based on fact, not on emotion. Okay, so that leads right to the big question, right? If you need this done in Trenton, what's it actually going to cost you? Let's get straight to the numbers. First up, we're getting straight to the bottom line. No fluff, no beating around the bush. Here are the typical costs you can expect for a divorce appraisal right here in the Trenton area. All right, for most standard homes, you're going to be looking at a range between $600 and $775. This gives you a really solid ballpark figure for budgeting as you figure out your next steps. But let's drill down into that a little more, because it really depends on what kind of property you have. For a typical single-family home or a condo here in Trenton, you're usually looking at right around that $600 mark. A manufactured home? A little bit more, about $650. And if you own a multifamily property, say a duplex or something with up to 4 units, that's where you'll see the cost push toward that higher end, closer to $775. So you see the price tag, but why is this investment so worth it? I promise you, it's about way more than just a number. It's about fairness, it's about clarity, and it's about having something that holds up legally. This is the key right here. A real appraisal provides the market value. And that's not just some number pulled out of thin air. It's an unbiased, professional opinion. It's a clear and, most importantly, a defensible number that stands up in negotiations with your lawyers, in mediation, and even in front of a judge. And this slide, wow, it really lays it all out. You've got those free online price calculators, right? They're fine if you're just curious, but they are not for legal use. They're just informal estimates. A certified appraisal, on the other hand, is the real deal. It's detailed, it's what the courts prefer, and it's specifically designed to cut down on arguments by giving everyone a reliable third-party valuation to work from. Okay, so we've got our baseline range of $600 to $775, but you might be thinking, could mine cost more? And the answer is maybe. Let's talk about what can change that price. Yeah, a few different things can definitely bump up that fee. If you have a really large or a unique custom-built home, well, that's just going to take more work to appraise. Same goes if the property's in a complex condition. Maybe it has major unpermitted renovations or it's in serious disrepair. Need the report like yesterday? A rush deadline will probably add a premium. And finally, if you have special requests like needing to know the value of the home on a date in the past, that's called a retrospective value, that can also increase the scope of the work and the final cost. All right, so you've decided to pull the trigger and get the appraisal. But what actually happens? What's the process like? Let's walk through it, step by step, so there are absolutely no surprises. It's actually pretty straightforward, usually just 4 main steps. First, you'll have an initial consultation to go over the details and get a solid fee quote. Next up is the actual property inspection, where the appraiser comes out to measure, photograph, and assess the home. Then they do the real deep dive, a market analysis, where they compare your home to similar recent sales in your neighborhood. And finally, you get the written report, a detailed document that explains exactly how they arrived at that final value. Okay, to wrap things up, I want to leave you with some really practical tips. These are things you can actually do to make sure the whole process goes as smoothly and effectively as possible. Listen, if you remember just one thing from all of this, make it this quote right here. Get both of your attorneys to agree on a single, neutral appraiser from the very start. This is, hands down, the best way to prevent one side from challenging the result later. It just cuts the legs out from under any future arguments about the house's value. And here are a few other quick pro tips to keep in mind. First off, get clear on who's paying for this upfront. Is the cost being split? Is one person covering it? Settle that early. Next, don't be shy about asking if the appraiser has experience with divorce cases. It's a specialty. And last but not least, be an open book. Give the appraiser all the relevant documents you have, renovation records, permits, HOA info, anything that helps them paint the most accurate picture possible. So, at the end of the day, what are we really talking about here? Yeah, an appraisal gives you a number, but its real value is in creating a shared, factual starting point in the middle of a really emotional time. Which leaves us with this final thought. Maybe that neutral valuation isn't just a step in the process, but the actual key to a fair outcome for everyone involved.